Welcome to Dirty Datini. I'm your host, Christina Kane. This is the Unfiltered podcast that takes you through the dirty truth of dating, modern romance, relationships, and most importantly, self-discovery. Remember, love isn't always neat, and sometimes life is on the rocks, but it's sure worth the mess.
Welcome back to another episode of Dirty Datini. I'm your host, Christina Kane, joined with one of my best friends, Anonymous. And today we are going to be answering men's most asked questions. The men have the questions and we have the answers, or at least I hope. So I'm going to be getting Anonymous feedback on some of the questions and her answers to these questions. So without further ado, we're just going to jump right into the questions.
May I ask a question? Yeah. You know, like on the crime TV shows where they only have like the silhouette of the person and then they like extremely deepen their voice. Would you be able to do that to me in post?
That is a lot of work that I don't know if I'm cut out for, but the questions aren't that serious. I'm not asking you if you've killed anyone, so you don't need to be blurred out.
Okay.
Do you prefer a man to pursue you in public or play it coy?
What do you mean in public? Like if I met a guy at a bar or something? Yeah, no, they have to be obsessed with me in 0.25 seconds or else I'm not interested.
So if you're at a bar and you see a guy that you think is cute and he looks at you and, but you're not really sure if he showed interest or not because he just looked at you. So it wasn't like a full on like hawk eye look. It was just more coy and reserved. You would rather him really make it really clear and come over to you and like ask for your number, ask to buy you a drink, and not like be more reserved and coy.
You bet your bottom dollar I'm not going up to anyone at a bar, so he has to come to me.
And why do you not like to pursue men?
No.
Straight to the point. You like to be pursued.
Yes.
Do you prefer your man to take charge if you were being hit on or stay back and let you handle it?
Oh, that's a good question. I would want my boyfriend to do something, but like not like anything too aggressive. Just like maybe do something with his hands. Like I'm waving my finger, everyone, by the way. Just like no, like something like that. But because I'm not confrontational, although I was with my boyfriend the other night and this man kept on like bumping into me and I turned around and I looked at him. I was like, are you all right? Are you okay?
Did you enjoy like being the one to handle the situation, or would you have rathered your anonymous boyfriend step in and do something?
It wasn't a moment where he needed to step in and do something because I just kept on getting bumped into. I don't even think he knew. And I just like, I had it up to here. If a man was being like perverted or just over the top, inappropriate, then yeah, I would prefer my boyfriend to say something. But I also don't want to get in a situation where it's like two guys like,
So how do you feel like if you were in that situation, you could tell your boyfriend from across the room, like, yes, step in, or no, like, I got this, just by like eye contact?
Eye contact, yeah. I can't give an answer because it depends on what's happening. Like, did someone just like slap my ass or something? Or did they just like say, hi, nice to meet you?
Right. That makes sense. Okay. Understood. I agree with that. I feel like it is circumstantial, but it's not attractive when a guy is like super over territorial. Like if you're just talking to someone at the bar or like at an event or something and your boyfriend just comes and like beelines straight for you guys, I feel like that's a little intrusive and unnecessary. So I think it depends. Like if you're in a situation where you don't feel comfortable and you like give him the eyes, like help, come save me, then it's time. What turns you off about a guy and what qualities do you look for in a guy?
I don't like liars. I hate lying. I've been lied to several times and I'm not into it. But qualities I look for: someone that can make me laugh because I love to laugh. Someone that's kind and thoughtful. And yeah, I guess that's about it.
I would say qualities I look for in a guy is someone who can definitely make me laugh, someone who's passionate and ambitious and someone who's spontaneous and like doesn't take life too seriously. Turnoffs would be definitely people who lie. um, and I think also a big turnoff to me is emotional immaturity and just immaturity overall. Like I'm all about having a good time and having fun, but if you're just super immature and just like being a kid all the time in a way, which I love being young and fun, but to me, like if you're super immature, then it's not an attractive quality for me, and I don't really view that person as a man.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Oh, I just thought about another one. I hate when you like meet a guy and they start like telling you like everything they have or own, because it's like almost insulting, because at that point you feel like, oh, do they think that this is all I care about? And that's fucking offensive. Like, absolutely not. So I hate when guys start like listing out like, oh, I have this, I have that. I'm like, ew, no, done. So that's another one.
So be humble with your earnings and your assets.
Kendrick Lamar said it perfect. Sit down, be humble.
Do you always expect the man to pay for dinner?
No, and you know this. I think that, I mean, obviously on like the first date or like in the courting process, sure. But I think that for me, I like to contribute in some capacity, as much as I can. But I don't think that there should be an expectation that the man pays for like 100% of everything. And like dating, I don't know, maybe when you get married, it depends. Again, circumstantial.
So in the beginning courting process, when you're dating, you think it's best for the man to pay for dinner. And then once you're in that relationship, you feel like it's more like give and take, fair play.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, I don't know. It's something you know this, something that I've been uncomfortable with, like just allowing someone to pay for 100% of everything. But yeah, I think give and take. Or like, I mean, I guess my mom always like, oh, she doesn't get mad. My mom, like when my mom and dad were dating, my dad would, you know, be very thoughtful and take her on trips or dinners, whatever. And so then she, on the back end, was saving up her money and she bought him a Rolex. So it's like, I think you can, I mean, I guess it depends on the guy. Not everyone cares about having material things, which is great. But I think if you can like show them like that it's reciprocal in some way from a monetary standpoint, I think it's healthy. And also too, it's like, why do I have a job if I'm not gonna like spend my money?
What are your thoughts when you're seeing somebody and it's in the newer stages and you know, you feel like you're in a relationship, but you're not sure what territory you're in? Do you feel like a guy should, you know, make it clear that you're in a relationship? Or do you think that if you're hanging out and not seeing other people, then it is clear? Like, what do you think about having the talk?
I would never bring up the DTR talk myself. If I was, I don't know, 2 months into a relationship and there's been no conversation about exclusivity or not seeing other people, I wouldn't bring it up. I would just bounce, because like I'm not gonna be with someone that I don't feel like chosen by. I would just be like, all right, I'm good on this.
Right. Do you feel like a guy who doesn't make it clear with what, because I feel like everybody knows after a certain amount of time of dating somebody, they know if they want a relationship with this person or not. So do you feel like a guy who hasn't made it clear is just either totally oblivious, living in la la land and just assumes they're in a relationship, or do you think they're breadcrumbing and stringing along?
Again, I think circumstantial. But I think if you flip the switch, right? Like I've had girlfriends before that are in relationships where they're saying, I'm not sure what we are, but like if we were the men in this situation, we would know what we would do, which is like DTR, define the relationship. So I think obviously men's brains work differently, but I don't think they are so different that they wouldn't have that thought as well. And I think my mom has always taught me about exclusivity is, she said before, if a man wants to be with you, he'll be worried about where you are, what you're doing when you're not with him, if he hasn't clearly defined the relationship. Because if you meet someone and they really like you, they should say to you, I don't want you seeing anyone else. I'm very interested in you, and kind of take control in that way. And I know it's 2023 and we're all equal and all of that. It's great. However, I'm more traditional in that sense where I would want a man to lead that conversation. It's just not something I would ever bring up. But I think they're capable of doing it. I think that there's a reason why men don't.
While some men take a long time to establish a relationship, some just do not get the clue and the hints that you're not interested. So when do you think a guy should give up on pursuing you and, understand that you're not interested?
I just want to throw this question back at you. Do you know anyone that's done that to you before?
I do. Do you want me to take this one away?
Yeah.
I think both men and female make it very clear when you're not interested. You don't respond to text messages. You do not go out on dates that you're asked on. So I think it's very clear, but obviously, like cat and mouse, men kind of want what they can't have, so they continue to pursue. But I think there does, and I respect the pursue, but I think there does come a time when if you constantly are texting someone, calling someone, asking them to hang out, and they're not reciprocating the same effort back into you, A, obviously you should get the message, but B, then I think in a way you're lacking self-respect, because if someone is showing clearly that they're not interested in you, but you're continuing to pursue them, I think that you have to, respect yourself a bit more and just completely step away from the equation altogether.
Most women I know are on their phones endlessly. So if somebody, I don't know, for me, if somebody doesn't text me back, I'm never going to double text them. I'd rather pass away. Actually, that's dramatic. I would not rather pass away, but I would never double text.
Is that like an ego thing at play?
Sure, yeah. But I'm not going to chase someone. Like, if you don't want to be with me, fine, but I'm not going to chase you. But I feel like men, if you're getting like 2, 3, 4 texts, and you're just sitting there like, oh my God, men should operate under the assumption that a woman, especially, and is that stereotyping, saying that like women are on their phones a lot? I don't know.
No, I think both men and females are always on their phones.
Yeah. Well, that's why when I have girlfriends like, oh, you didn't respond. And I'm like, well, he's not the fucking president. So like, even at minimum, if you are so busy with work or life, whatever, you're traveling, I get that. But I don't think anyone's busy enough just to be like, hey, so sorry I haven't gotten back to you, thinking of you, and I'll like reach out when I have more time. Or not, I mean, that sounds kind of, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so sorry, I'm busy, I'll text you later, I'll call you tomorrow or whatever. But I don't think, I think men should stop after like a second text not responded.
So basically, men should stop pursuing someone who's not interested very, very early on. Why do girls bail on plans so frequently?
Like romantically or with friends?
With a man. This episode is questions men want answered. So with a man.
Got it. Aye, Captain. I don't know. I mean, I've canceled dates like an hour before, not because I'm a bad person, but because also I spiral and I'll think, okay, I don't want to go on a date with this person anymore. What do I do? And then I'll make up an excuse, to be honest. I don't think I've ever been honest when I've been canceling a date, ever.
Is it more because you're nervous about going on the date, or because you come to the realization that you're actually not interested in this person?
Not interested. I'm not nervous to go on a date, like, ever. I'm not. So, no, I've only canceled because I think to myself, actually, NVM, which means never mind.
So you feel like girls cancel or bail on guys because they're simply not interested. But if they're simply not interested, then why did they say yes in the first part?
I mean, I don't know. I was this was several months ago, but I was meant to go on a date with someone on Raya, and I asked a mutual, actually, colleague of mine how she knew this person. And then she started sending me screenshots of when this person was heavily pursuing her. Maybe honestly like a decade ago, but still the stuff that he was saying was bizarro enough that I thought, no. And so I just told him I wasn't feeling well. And then he texted me one more time and I never responded ever again.
So yeah, it's like you were maybe open to the idea and interested, but then it's like things have come to light. You had some time to marinate on it and you just change your mind.
Yeah. Or if I'm going on a date, or if I've gone on a date like in between and I was meant to go on a date with someone after that, if I like that person enough that I want to date with, I'll cancel the other one. Like I don't like multiple dating. Like even if I go on a first date with someone and I'm like slightly interested, I will not go on another date until I see the other thing through. Maybe that's silly. Is it? Maybe it's silly, but I just, you know me.
It's you putting your eggs all in one basket. Okay. What are your true thoughts and opinions on men showing vulnerability? Do you feel like it demasculates them? Do you love it when they show emotion? What are your thoughts on that?
J'adore. That's French for I love it. I like when a man is in touch with his emotions. It wouldn't freak me out if a man cried. No, I don't want to like, I don't want somebody to be sad or to cry, but my preference would be if someone is feeling emotions that they show them and be real about it. I think it's weird, like men can't cry. I think it's weird. And I think also it's unhealthy because then men get like, oh, like bottle it up. But no, my preference is being like over the top emotional.
I agree. I think that men should show vulnerability in a relationship or even not in a relationship with their, any men or female in their life because it's healthy to show emotion and it actually shows more strength, of course, than weakness to show emotion. It shows that you're in touch with your emotions. It shows that you're emotionally mature. And I think it is a awful stereotype that we need to limit, that men need to be men and like, always be very macho. There actually is a really good documentary called The Mask We Wear or something like that. I'll put it in the description below. But it was on Netflix and it was talking about the upbringing of little boys and how, like, let's say like the 5-year-old got hurt in a football game and he started crying and his dad was like, no, stop crying, be a man. So then that kind of unconsciously programs their subconscious to think that anytime they're hurt or affected by something, they're less of a man if they show emotion.
Even if a man is expressing emotions surrounding something that's upsetting them or hurtful to them, great, and I think they should. But also if like a guy or man is in touch with his emotions, that also like allows for your connection between you two to be like stronger as well, because then they're going to be more vulnerable in that department too.
Does someone's occupation influence their level of attractiveness?
Christina, why would you even put this question on the list for me?
I'll take this one away then. Personally, in a way, I do think it influences their attractiveness because if they work, a nice job, it shows their level of dedication and their drive and their passion for what they're doing. And because those are characteristics I find appealing in a man, it does add to their attractiveness for me, personally.
My preference is that the person has a job first and foremost. There's been a few that have not had a job or a vehicle, which isn't ideal because I like to be a passenger princess. But as long as they have a job and they show up to their job every day, I think that's wonderful. There's a lot of careers that aren't very sexy, but take a lot of hard work and dedication, and I respect that.
Okay. Why do girls say that they don't want gifts or flowers if they actually do want them? I think that girls do like being given gifts or flowers, but they don't want to have to tell you to give it to them. So yes, they do actually want it. but they don't want to have to hint or tell you to get them a gift or give them flowers, or, oh, the special occasion's coming up, and like you're dropping hints to them that you want a gift or flowers, because then it takes like the surprise and the special meaning out of it. So I think girls do want it, but they just say that they don't when they actually do, because they don't want to have to almost tell you or ask you to do it. They want you to do it because you want to do it.
Yeah, I think honestly, one of my favorite things is like on Valentine's Day, if you're at the grocery store or like a flower shop or something, is seeing these men just like, I mean, 9 out of 10 times they're like carnations and like the ugliest arrangements I've ever seen. But it doesn't matter because it's so sweet that they're there at the store, like looking, thinking like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. And they pick out something really ugly, probably 9 out of 10 times. But there's something so sweet about that, like them going into a store and buying flowers or a card or something. I love seeing that. It brings me joy. But I don't know. I mean, I always make it clear to people that I love flowers, because I do love flowers, but it's not about receiving one of those crazy $600 like floral arrangements. First, it's kind of a waste of money because flowers live a week, they die. But for another example, I'm bringing it back to Daryl and Steve. My dad, when I was growing up, would come home with just like a thing of roses from Costco for my mom. But my mom loved it because she knew that he went and took time out of his day and thought, you know what, I'm gonna get Daryl flowers. And that's really sweet. Like, I love things, I love gifts. I'm just a girl, but I definitely there's like a part of me that like, when I receive them, like I love it, but I also am like, oh god, it stresses me out a little.
I think that goes back to what she was saying about Steve and Daryl, kind of goes back to what I was saying in the previous episode I just did. Gifts speak louder than words, is because it's more about the thought that you thought of that person and wanted to do something for them. It's the gesture more than like the actual product.
Yeah. I mean, even my mom, because she knows I love flowers, my mom and dad will send me these extravagant, beautiful floral arrangements for no reason. And they know I love them. And so then when it comes to dating or people that I've dated previously, I would make all these like justifications. Oh, well, like they do this for me, so it's fine. And my mom would be like, Remy, stop. You love flowers. She said it wouldn't matter if they went, because like at Trader Joe's during daffodil season, you can get daffodils for $5. Like, it's not a lot of money. She's like, it's not about that. She's like, I would be equally as happy with a $5 daffodil arrangement as I would be with Venus at Fleur or whatever the hell it's called. So she's like, it's just about the thought, like back to your point. But I mean, I would be happy and excited if somebody was like, I went to a grocery store today and I saw these flowers and I thought of you. Like, it's so sweet.
So has your boyfriend gotten you flowers?
Yes.
Has he really?
No, but he's gotten me a million other things. He's like the most thoughtful person. He really is.
No, he really is. I just wanted to throw that question in there. Why do girls say, I'm fine, when really they're not fine?
I've said I'm fine before because I'm not interested in engaging in any sort of confrontation. I hate confrontation, but I don't think that's a good move to say I'm fine if you're not. But I also too, and we talked about this the other day, I'm such a person that friendship, like romantic or non-romantic relationships, I'm not like impulsive with my emotions, or at least I try not to be. So for example, and I know this is about men, but if I got in a fight with you or something you were doing was bothering me, I wouldn't bring it up immediately, not because I'm like sitting on it thinking like creating a plan. I'm just sitting on it thinking, okay, what role do you play? Are you being over emotional? Are you misreading a situation? Like, all first in my own head, kind of like analyze what's happening. Or if I'm in therapy at the time, I'll talk to my therapist and I'll say, am I being crazy? Am I being crazy? And he'll tell me, I mean, I guess therapists really aren't supposed to do that, but he'll say no, like, or he'll say, yeah, like you're being over the top. So I always try to like sit with myself first with it. Now I forgot the question.
Why do women tell their partners they're fine when they're really not fine?
Yeah, I think the long story short, I'm not in therapy, by the way. I don't need it because I'm perfect. But long story short, I think just to avoid confrontation, because there's nothing worse than fighting with your partner. I mean, you like there can be fights you don't eat, you don't sleep, like you're like, ugh, and it's terrible. But I also think it's responsible to not be impulsive with your emotions, to really like, but also like really when something happens, look at yourself and be like, what role did I play, or how could I have managed this better, rather than just being like, I'm upset, I'm angry, da 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 da, whatever.
This is one that's more lighter, but I'm sure guys want to know. Why do girls go to the bathroom together?
Let's talk shit. End of story, period. We're talking shit. We're talking shit on you. We're talking shit on your cousin. We're talking shit on your friends. We're talking shit on your ex-girlfriend. We're talking shit on everyone. Everyone. But I mean, yeah, you go to the bathroom. But I mean, I don't know. I've known you a decade now. I think that there's been times where you just wanted a buddy and we're not talking shit. You just like wanted company, and I'll do that. But 9 out of 10 times it's because we're talking mad shit in the privacy of the potty.
I do think that, yes, there's times that you go to the bathroom and like nothing's going on in there, nothing's exciting, but most of the time it's because we're like updating one another. Like, what's that text you got while we were sitting at the dinner table? Like, you know, like you're having like a staff meeting in the bathroom basically before you return to the table. Now, what is the deal with the importance of shower products in a man's shower?
Oh, like you mean to see if they're like a clean person?
Well, more so like, what are your thoughts on when you go to a guy's house and he has a shampoo and a conditioner and a face wash and a body wash, and, you know, he has products in the shower that you feel you can use, versus a guy's house you go to and it's just like a bar of soap? You know, what is the importance of a man's shower?
I don't really, I know you feel strongly about this, but I don't really have a preference. I mean, as long as the person is showering, that's a great first step. But I mean, I'm not looking to see what products they're using or anything like that. And if I was dating someone to the point where I was showering at their house, if they didn't have the supplies I needed, I'd get my own. But I know you feel differently about that.
I feel differently about it. A, because I'm single. B, because like, I love when I go to a man's house and like he has nice skincare, shampoo, conditioner, because then I'm like, oh, I could see myself being here more often. I don't know, it just makes it easier, as instead of like especially if you're not into the point where it's like it's time for you to bring your stuff over because you're not really to that stage yet. So like, let's say you're, you know, at a dinner and you guys get drunk and you like go back to one person's, then it's like you don't have to worry about having all those things because you know that they already have all those things.
Sephora delivers on DoorDash.
Thank you. As it does happen to men, do women get publicly aroused?
Christina Kane.
What? It's not a serious question. Okay, I'm gonna answer it. I personally don't think females do. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, like I've never like how guys can like look at a girl and get a hard on.
Oh, like a stranger?
Just like in general, like, yeah, in public, or like a stranger or your partner or anyone. Like guys can get aroused out in public. So it's like guys are wondering, do females get aroused? And like I think there's times that I definitely have more passion and interest for someone, but I don't know if I'm necessarily aroused.
Can't answer this question because it's inappropriate.
You came on the wrong podcast.
I am sure there's women that do.
Okay. I guess it's a case by case scenario. Some women do, some women don't. Potato, potato. Then you can't answer these questions either, so I'll just take them away. Okay. Does size matter? Personally, I don't think size does matter. If it is too small, then it's not going to be that enjoyable just because you can't really feel it that greatly. But also if it's too large, it can be super uncomfortable because it's just painful. So I don't necessarily focus on size. Yes, there's pros and cons, but I think there's so many different positions and things that you can incorporate into the bedroom to make up for faulty size. And it's more, what is the saying? It's the motion of the ocean or something like that.
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
A man, you love this man. No, you like this man. You're about to kiss him and stuff. He's standing in front of you, and it's just so small. It's not hot.
Well, but then again, you have to like think like, is he a grower or a shower? Some guys have like a massive package, and then like when they are hard and aroused, it's somewhat the same. And some guys are much more smaller, but then when they're hard and aroused, it really grows.
I can't. I might make you cut this, but like, so I just don't talk about wieners publicly, usually. I want a man.
And you qualify a man by the size of his package?
Absolutely not. But like, I'm not like, if like someone, how do I say this?
I don't know. I'm waiting.
I just if it like you're about to, kiss and stuff, and a guy takes off his clothes or man, whatever, and they just like, it doesn't make them feel like a man.
Well,
It makes it feel like a boy, and like I don't like boys.
I guess the difference is I don't have experience with a micro penis or seeing one, so I don't know how it would make me feel if I saw a guy take off his clothes and it was super small. Clearly you have a feeling about it.
It's crazy that you don't want to be like, I've seen so many, so everyone that you've dated,
I have seen
being like, is it me?
I have seen a lot of dicks in my life, but I wouldn't say any of them.
Don't say you've seen a lot of wieners.
We're on Dirty Datini podcast. We keep it real and unfiltered, but I have not seen any that I'm just like, oh my God, that's shockingly small.
Really?
No, I haven't. Are there some that are larger than others? Yeah, but I haven't seen any that I'm just like,
That's nice.
Yeah, we have different experiences. Okay. All right. So we're almost getting to the end. Hopefully you will have some feedback on this question because I don't feel like it's too risque. Nothing's too risque for me. But what are your thoughts?
I'm just a regular girl. A lot of things are too risque for me, and I work in corporate America.
There you go. She's not trying to lose her job over my podcast. What are your thoughts to receiving nudes from men? Do you want to contribute to this one, or you want me to take it? No, I can. Okay. Well, like men sending nudes. Like, do you like it? Do you not like it? Is it uncalled for? Like, because I know men get off on nudes. What are your thoughts on receiving nudes from men?
I don't think my mom watches your podcast. If I don't genuinely like someone, like the thought of seeing that, like in any capacity, even in porn, like it grosses me out. It grosses me out. Seeing a wiener, if you will, seeing a wiener that's not my wiener grosses me out. It grosses me out. But if I'm like dating someone and we're, going back and forth, yeah, super into it. Otherwise, absolutely not. Like, I do not want to see and also too, for me, I can't. Yeah. So if if I love the person and there's like, we're having fun, chit-chatting, great. But like a stranger's wiener, disgusting, foul.
Basically, the moral of the story is if you really like that person and you're invested in them, then you don't mind it and sometimes you enjoy it. But if it's just like someone you're not interested in and it's, unsolicited or uncalled for, then it's a big no.
100% if I'm interested, great, fantastic. Because I also think that type of imagery should be reciprocal.
Okay. I think you're going to like this one. We only have 2 more. Okay. If a man is to cheat or to be unfaithful in a relationship, how do you feel it is best for them to navigate that? Do you feel like they should just end the relationship, which may be blindsiding to their partner and out of the blue? Or do you feel that they should communicate it to them and then navigate together as a team what to do moving forward?
I am so anti-cheating. I have been in relationships before where I'm phasing out. I am not super into it, but I would never try to fill a spot or void prior to ending a relationship. Never ever. I think that if you do cheat, I think it's your like moral responsibility to be honest with your partner. I have been in situations where I have heard from other people and it's almost worse because you feel like you're with this person, you're supposed to know this person, like you're supposed to know everything about them, and it's so hurtful when it comes from someone else. So I think if you do cheat, and again, I don't condone cheating, but I do think that people make mistakes, and like an emotional or physical affair is so much different than like, holy shit, I got so drunk last night, we got in a fight and I hooked up with someone or I kissed someone, whatever. Again, I at this juncture in my life, if that happens to me, I'm like dunzo because I'm 30 almost and I just don't have time. Or not, I have time. I have so much time, but I just don't have, like, my heart can't handle that. But I think that it's your moral responsibility to tell your partner directly rather than them hearing it from someone else. Because again, been in this situation, it is so much worse when you hear it through the grapevine and people are like, hey, I think you're a really nice girl and this is why I'm telling you this. It's like, it's the most humiliating thing. When this happened to me before, I confronted my partner and I said, hey, I just got like a weird call and I'm giving you the opportunity to be honest with me. And this person basically told me, I'm not going to tell you the truth until you tell me you told me you. And I thought to myself, what the fuck? But I was 24, 25 at the time. So I had zero spine. And so now if that were to happen, if I heard that from one person and I confronted my partner and I said, hey, I heard this. And they said, I'm not going to talk about it until you tell me who. I'd be like, bloop, blocked. You're never going to hear from me ever again because that's something I'm really good at. Really good at that now. But I think you need to be honest with your partner. And again, mistakes happen. Everyone is human. Do I condone it? No. But like, having that transparency, especially after you're going to hurt someone that deeply, coming from you versus someone else, I think is important and respectful.
I think that was very well said, and I don't think I could have said it better myself. This is the last question, and I think a lot of women and men probably have curiosity around this question. Is there a timeline for when a man should ask you to marry you? For example, you've been dating for 7 years. He hasn't proposed to you. Do you think you continue to ride the wave with the hopes that you're going to get married because you've been together so long? Or do you think if they haven't stepped up to the plate and done it yet, like sayonara?
Again, circumstantial, but if you're the woman and you're waiting for the man to like step up to the plate and do it, like fuck that. Like, stop waiting, because again, a man should want to lock you down, should want to tie you down, make sure that there's no one else that can have you. I thought that the question originally was like about like time frames. I do believe that as you get older, I don't think it's crazy if you meet someone and like 8 months later you're engaged and about to get married. And my mom has always said to me too, she's like, it's not crazy. As you get older, you might meet someone and after 4 or 5 months, you might get engaged and get married and elope. And she's like, that's great because that person is showing you that they want to commit. We maybe get divorced, maybe, but at least that person is like willing to commit to you. I think that if you're in a relationship for 5 years, for example, and this person doesn't make a move after you've been like acting like a married couple for the past 5 years, then like fuck that and goodbye. So I don't know, it depends, because I also know couples that have been together, like, can you believe this out? Yeah. For example, he was with his girlfriend for like 7 years and they like were like, marriage is a construct, like we're not into it, fine. They ended up breaking up. But if like the man and woman are both aligned where they're saying, it's a piece of paper, it doesn't mean anything, our love is stronger than that, great, do it. But like if you're a woman and you're craving and like seeking, like not seeking, but like wanting to get married and start a family, and your partner's just like, I don't know, like fuck him, fuck him, fuck him, but leave him.
I agree. I think that when you're in a relationship, as you only have one life to live and there's no going backwards. So if you feel like what you want in your life at that time is marriage and then kids, and that's not in alignment with your partner, then you have to go find that for yourself, and you can't wait to find that in the person you're with.
Yeah. I think honestly, as I've gotten older, when you date someone, you take them at face value. You don't try to change anyone, because no one's going to change, especially I think I'm a few years older than you, but what I'm learning or have learned, like you have to take, like, because I date like 5-8 years older, because that's just what I've been doing. But you're not going to be able to change a man that's 35. You're not going to be able to change a man that's 40. You have to take them at face value. Have to either love them wholly with their flaws and all, or you're just like not into it, and there's something that they do that might bother you, but you cannot change someone. You can't change someone. So I feel like when you're like sitting around waiting for someone to change, it's just like a waste of time and it's silly. But I think if you're in your early 20s, like pop off, do what you gotta do. There's no rush. But now at my age, I'm feeling a little rushed.
Yes, you cannot change somebody. You should not try to change somebody. It's you either love the person for who they are and do not love them for the expectations of who you think they could be. That is all our questions for this episode. I hope that you men listening took something away from this. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Women, if you would like to contribute, please also leave your thoughts down below. If you have any of your own questions that you want answered, email dirtydayteeny@gmail.com. The email is also down below in the description. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Before we get back to reality, if you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode. And for that, you're iconic. But before we part ways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, don't be shy and leave a review. Thirsty for more? Follow Dirty Dayteeny on Instagram and TikTok @DirtyDayteeny. Oh, and just remember, we're on this journey together. Until next time, stay dirty and stay flirty.